Hi, today I made a poached chicken in honor of Chinese New Year's. This is sometimes called a white cut chicken. Um, Chicken represents family unity, time for families to get together, um, get together and eat. And in the old days, chicken represented prosperity. And as the old saying went in the U.S., chicken in every pot. And car in every garage, so it represents prosperity. Hi, today we're going to do a classic Chinese New Year dish. It's poached chicken, but sometimes it's called white cut chicken, and I think my parents called it soaked chicken. Basically, you put the chicken in a hot pot of boiling water, turn it down, let it simmer for about 10 minutes, then you turn off the heat completely and you let the chicken cook in the hot water and do not remove the lid. The end result is the chicken is very tender and moist, and it doesn't have that dry boiled chicken flavor. So one of the first things we're going to do is clean the chicken. So this chicken here, also for Chinese New Year's, I should mention the chicken is usually has the uh, chicken feet and the neck, but that's hard to find nowadays. So usually when you clean a chicken, you pull out any of the stuff that's in the cavity. And I don't know if it's still done, but then I would sprinkle salt all over the chicken and use that like an abrasive to clean off any of this loose stuff, whatever that is. And then I would rinse the chicken and it's ready for cooking. All right, I finished washing the chicken. I put it in the Instapot with enough water to come up to the max fill line. So that was about 9-10 cups of water. Typically, you don't add too much stuff into the water, but I like adding green onions. The Usually what happens is you use the broth to make other soups for Chinese New Year, so you don't want to add too much weird flavors or different flavors that might contrast with the soup. And salt, I've heard different things. Some people add salt after the chicken's done, but I like to add a little salt before. So I'm adding probably half a teaspoon. And I'll put on the lid, check the seal, make sure the valves are working, and I'll set the timer. Okay, I'm gonna try to simulate how we traditionally cook it. Basically, I was gonna use the poultry mode, but I noticed that the minimal cooking time is 5 minutes, and I think that's a little too long for what I want to do. Traditionally, you let the water come to a boil and turn off the heat. Oops, let me cancel that. And with the pressure cookers, it's going to be heating up to whatever the pressure is when it's high pressure, so 235, 240, and just cook it minimal time and let it cruise once it's off. So I'm going to cook it at pressure cooker and switch it to 1 minute. And see how it turns out. All right, the timer is kicked in, so cooking time is 1 minute. When the timer goes off, I'll turn off the machine and just let the pressure relieve itself naturally. All right, the timer's gone off after 1 minute. It's gone into keep warm mode, but I'll hit cancel and turn it off. I'm not going to relieve the pressure. I'll just let the pressure gradually release. And last time it took 45 minutes to relieve the pressure. All right, one of the condiments that's usually made to go with the poached chicken is a ginger, garlic, green onion mashed mixture, and then you add salt and you scald it with hot oil. One easy way to peel ginger is to use a spoon, and you could peel off the skin. And this is a vegetable cleaver and not a meat cleaver. I found that out the hard way where I actually notched this knife while trying to cut a chicken. So making the condiment is pretty straightforward. You just chop everything up and mash it together. So I'll just do the green onions first. Then there's going to be some smashing and pounding. You could use a food chopper, but I'm just doing a little. And part of the fun of getting out aggression is to mash things. And try not to get things on the floor. And then another way, you can also add some salt. So you could kind of grind things together. Also, what I've done in the past is also use the flat end to mash this stuff together. All right, I've finished chopping this mixture. I've heated about a tablespoon to a tablespoon of oil, and I think whenever I've made this in the past, they didn't do this, but I like scalding the mixture in hot oil. I don't know if you could hear that, but I think that adds helps tone down the garlic mixture a little. And that's the mixture, the condiment. All right, the chicken's been in the Instant Pot for 45 minutes. I noticed that this actually popped out earlier at roughly 25 minutes. I guess when you turn it off, there's no heating on. So hopefully this is cooked. Let's take a look. It looks cooked. Well, let's go down to the cutting. So the objective, hopefully the chicken turns out moist and tender. It's poached, not boiled, in theory. And looks like we have a lot of nice broth. Now I need to get this out of the crock pot or Instant Pot. All right, here's the finished chicken. I'm gonna cut it up. Um, as you notice, it's sometimes called white cut chicken, and I don't know if that's because this is poached and it's a very white looking chicken. I know most people aren't used to seeing this, but it's very common for Chinese New Year's to have a white cut chicken. Typically, you'd let it cool some more, but I'm starting to get hungry. So I'll give it a shot and see if I can cut this up. Start at the breast, cut down. Also, sometimes I'll cheat and I'll use shears to cut it. And cut it down the middle. Oops. A lot of juice. This is a juicy chicken. Alright, let's try that again. The juice on the chicken was starting to run down the plate and onto the floor, so I had to catch the juices. But try cutting the chicken. Alright, let's see how this Instapot chicken turned out. I'll just take a small piece. It's kind of shredding. In reality, you don't want that. So I think the Instapot kind of overcooked the chicken a little. Let me give it a try. Slightly overcooked. It's cooked more than I would have liked. So I might have to work on my Instapot recipe.